Hello Riders and Rangers. Welcome to our next installment of How to Fix Samurai Part 4. For our recap for the previous 3 parts. The Samurai Ranger's source of powers derive from simple magic called calligraphy generated innovation, CGI for short. Lauren is our season's Red Ranger. She's supposedly an overpowered flame-wielding warrior, yet she's burned by her own flames. Deeker is a freelance Niloke with no aspiration but to duel. When the Shiba mansion was attacked decades ago during Xandred's invasion, Lauren's mother made a deal with the devil, begging him to rescue her daughter. This is a callback to Lightspeed Rescue. Deeker answers her call and infuses his CGI flame powers to Lauren. Consider this a gift of life or a curse of damnation. The moment Lauren fails to live up to being a warrior, Deeker CGI within her will incinerate her to death. When she lets go of humanity, she will become a Niloke like him, so the two can duel for eternity. However, Lauren has defeated Deeker in a duel and he is no longer seen anywhere else. Is the curse of Deeker gone? Our Blue Ranger of the season is Kevin. He claims to be Lauren's self-proclaimed right-hand man. He is a book-smart warrior who sticks to traditions. He kowtows to Lauren to the point which feels ingenious. Mike picks up on this after Antonio sensed Kevin's CGI of water matches Thulu's CGI power. Kevin and Thulu both shares the CGI power of water. This is disturbing as Thulu seemed to have way too much knowledge on the samurai and CGI. Mike is the Green Ranger who refused to become a samurai at first. But he is starting to learn and pick up the ways on the samurai as he becomes more attuned to the team. He helped Antonio build the Homarus Folding Zord and Light Zord Gamma. He is learning his CGI of Forest, which creates living Zords. He grew to respect Lauren as well. The Yellow Ranger, Emily, is starting to become stronger despite having replaced her older sister who has fallen ill. Emily is a new fighter who needs reassurances from Mia, the Pink Ranger of the season. Mia is the mother of the group and she supports the team. She also has a pseudo-rivalry with Daewoo where both share a tragic love life. Daewoo tries for centuries to have Deeker fall in love with her but constantly fails. Mia has a crush on a boy, which is why she makes vegan food that she doesn't even like. She hopes that one day he will fall for her. The 6th Ranger of the season is Antonio and is not a samurai in order to keep up with the tradition of a 5-man band for the samurai group. Antonio is the ninja of the team. He scouts out enemies by doing his regular job as a sushi maker. As his sidekick Gamma puts it, he is a Thunder Ninja Academy dropout. Antonio is trying his hardest to become a true samurai. In order to be one, he has to find the location of the legendary Mosasaurus disc in order to become Shiba clan samurai. Serator is the current boss villain during this arc. Serator has spent centuries to overthrow Xandred. He has placed Daewoo by Xandred's place, after he has cursed her into being a Niloke. Every time Daewoo strums the sad tune, Xandred becomes susceptible to it. As Serator has the powers of turning humans into Nilokes, he can turn Nilokes into humans. Eventually, Xandred was transformed into human after their last encounter. Xandred is living as a human without any memories as a Niloke. Alright, time to jump into this episode. Grab your calligraphones. Ready. Samurai, fortify. Or grab your sushi morpher. As Antonio calls it, lightning storm, shinobi form. In this episode called Corrida de Toros Part 1. Serator, having inspiration from the samurai folding Zords based on the origami, he decides to make a monster of his own called Papyrix Prototype. But the proto was useless in battle and malfunctions. It was used as a test dummy by Azazoth's attacks, while it starts developing a childlike mind. Escaping to Earth, it finds itself in the middle of Daewoo's walk. While following her, Proto was curious as Daewoo was humming her shamisen tune. Back in the Shiba mansion, the Rangers return from a number of attacks in Ox Head Point. As the Rangers try to discover why, Antonio reveals it to be the site where CGI power came to be and also the birthplace of the original Zord with a warrior mode, the Toros Folding Zord. Kevin suspects the Nilokes are trying to control the inactive Zord, especially Thulu, who knows CGI could be able to wield it. Mike raises his eyebrows at how Kevin is able to come to that plausible conclusion so quickly. The Toros Folding Zord was incomplete over the years after the original creator abandoned it. It seems to have a curse, as many of those came before it tried to control the Zord and had bad luck. Even the creator, the shaman, fell in love with an evil Ronin and the two became Nilokes. Antonio's parents tried to tame it too. But Antonio's parents left as it was decided to be too powerful to control. The folding Zord was sealed away within the mountain. Mia recognized it to be made by Daewoo and was not too keen in suggesting to complete it despite Antonio's enthusiasm. While Antonio was studying to be a samurai, creating his Homarus Zord and Gamma, he studied his grandfather's blueprints for taming the Toros Folding Zord heavily, modeling his Zords after it. Antonio believes he can try to use his gifted CGI powers to resurrect it. Antonio wants to finish what his grandfather had started before his family became sushi makers. Also, this distracts him from not being able to find the Mosasaurus disc, which has been bothering him a lot. Antonio brought it up after mastering 2 Zords. He believes he will be the one who can control the Taurus folding Zord. As Proto was following Deu, it finally fell apart from the rain which Deu noticed. After being repaired by Deu, who only claims that she fixed it because of a kinship on how she knows how it feels to be forsaken, she told Proto to go away. Proto attempts to win her love as its mother. He notices Deu holding a portrait of Deeker in human form wielding the Uramisa katana. Back in the mansion, Antonio then presents to Lauren the disc that he believes can tame the Taurus folding Zord, but Gi turns him down as it's too risky, according to the track record of the Zord. Mia also said the Zord was tampered with by Deu, and she doesn't trust it. When the Nylok arrives to undo the Taurus folding Zord seal under Serrator's orders, the Samurai Rangers arrive to fight him and the Azathoth. As the Nylok escapes, Antonio chases after him. When the two entered the Taurus Zord's cockpit, the seal was undone and the giant Azathoths attempt to capture it. Thus, Antonio uses the disc to activate the Zord, but when it was awakened, it went on a rampage, which knocked Antonio unconscious inside the Zord and the Nylok general evacuated the cockpit. The Samurai Rangers use Samurai Megazord and Homarus Zord to strike the Azathoths down before attempting to restrain the Taurus folding Zord themselves. However, the Taurus folding Zord is too powerful for Samurai Megazord to withstand it and the folding Zord charges away. While this occurs, Proto found a piece of Deeker's katana Uramisa, but before it could give it to her, the Taurus folding Zord caused a huge landslide. Proto was damaged protecting Deu from that landslide. It plays Deu's harmonium tune before it crumples into pulp. Deu coldly walks away from Proto as she said, "My heart has already been broken centuries ago, this means nothing to me." Then Deu notices that it was carrying a piece of Deeker's Uramisa and she takes it, looking at it longingly. Continuing to the second episode to this 2-parter Corrida de Toros Part 2. As the Taurus folding Zord continues its rampage, Deu prepares to throw the broken blade of Deeker's Uramisa into the sea when Serrator reveals that Deeker is still alive and he wishes the former samurai to work for him. He promises to repair her shamisen and Deeker's Uramisa in return. Later that night, Deu finally found a subconscious Deeker. She nurses him back to health and relays Serrator's message to him. Meanwhile, after having no luck in capturing the Taurus folding Zord, Emily suggests to Lauren and the others to reverse Antonio's fishing CGI, which was used to fish the soul lifter Nylok out of the Sunja River. Maybe this time, they can fish Antonio out of the Zord. But it failed as the symbol wasn't written on Antonio. As the Samurai Rangers are exhausted from trying, Gi gives Lauren a special secret disc to destroy the Taurus folding Zord. It is the only way to save Antonio. Sending the others ahead of her, Lauren learns that Gi sees the Taurus folding Zord to be responsible for the death of Antonio's mother while he was supervising the taming of the Zord. As Gi expresses his guilt that it is partly his fault that Antonio's mother died and now that her son is in trouble, Lauren tells him otherwise and returns the destruction disc to Gi. This also revealed why Gi did not want Antonio to join the Samurai Rangers. Gi does not want Antonio to die within his watch, as Antonio's mother did in his. Anything happening to Antonio would be on his conscience. On their way to find Antonio, the Samurai Rangers are ambushed by Nylok General and several Azathoth. The Nylok General enters the Taurus folding Zord, which has been inactive again. Lauren joins the battle, and when both Deu and Deeker arrive to hold the Samurai Rangers back, Samurai Red goes forward to find the Nylok monster ready to kill Antonio, exhausted from overusing CGI power from taming the Taurus folding Zord while he was inside for the past few days. However, the folding Zord begins its rampage again as Gi arrives at the cockpit and reveals that he too wished to control the Taurus folding Zord in the past along with Antonio's parents. Gamma realizes there was an excess amount of power poured into the Zord. Together, the Lantern Zord, Antonio, and Gi absorb the excess CGI power that drives the Taurus folding Zord wild before it destroys Ox Head Point. Lauren transforms into Daimyo Red and destroys the Nylok General, who has the intent to destroy the Taurus folding Zord now that it cannot be under his control. Given the reins of the Taurus folding Zord, Daimyo Red turns the Taurus folding Zord into warrior mode, who slays the Nylok as Deeker and Deu take their leave. Lauren and her vassals find Gi and a dehydrated Antonio, as they make their way home with this ancient folding Zord joining their arsenal. Antonio apologizes to the rest of the team when he expects Gi to berate him. Gi tells him he shouldn't push himself too hard. He tells Antonio his mother would have been very proud of him. Mia also wonders if the Taurus folding Zord could be redeemed. Is it possible that Deeker and Deu could be too? At the beachside house, Miran worries about the transformed human's android as he still has recurring dreams about the tiny Azathoth getting attacked by humans after helping humanity. But the man tells her not to worry and that he's fine outside not having his memory. The girl says he was found not carrying anything, merely that he was found unconscious. He looks by his side and notices that she has many flowers and get well cards from her friends so that she could get better, making him realize that she is ill. Inspired, he decides to take Miran on a bike ride, which she had always wanted, and takes her to a seashore where she runs around in the ocean barefoot. She is happy since it had been a while since someone had taken her out, but she asks him if he remembers anything from doing these things. he doesn't, other than a feeling that he had something he needed to do that was important. This ensuing episode, named Parental Guidance, we learn more about Mia, who became a kindergarten teacher and training as a samurai to get over her crush back home. The Shiba home has a visitor, Mia's father, and husband of Mrs. Shiraishi, the previous samurai Pink. Mr. Shiraishi asks Mia to quit the samurai rangers and move back to Hawaii with him. He tried to also bait her by saying the boy she has fallen in love with is probably waiting for her back home. He says children should stay by their parents' side. Before Mia can answer, the samurai rangers must head to Nine Dragon Pond to confront the Azazoth, who are attacking an elementary school and kidnapping children. In this, we see how much the samurai rangers have improved when compared to their first time fending off the Azazoth from the school in Mia's debut episode. During the melee, Samurai Pink manages to plant a gap sensor on a little boy before the Azazoth spirit him away. The samurai rangers learn more about Mia's childhood before Mr. Shiraishi again tries to convince Mia to quit the team and move to Hawaii. The samurai rangers soon learn that Serator is holding the children in Oilfield Bay, where he intends to use them to help create dry riverbeds to receive the Sansa River in the mortal realm. He will emotionally torture all the children. An area absence of humanity with so much disparity will be flooded with Sansa River waters. Thulu states that's purely theoretical. So why is Thulu is by Serator's side? It's a temporary allegiance because Serator threatened he will turn Thulu back to being a human. Thulu also wants to use this opportunity to spy on Serator. One of the children escapes, chased by a group of Azazoth. Mia rescues the boy, but is injured in the process. Samurai Red, Samurai Blue, and Samurai Green arrive to fight the Nylok while Ninja Gold and Samurai Yellow help the children to safety. Serator easily beats the 5 samurai rangers by himself. Mia wants to join the battle, but Mr. Shiraishi is reluctant to let her. When Mia berates him for not understanding other parents' suffering, Mr. Shiraishi tells her exactly. He is reluctant because it puts him on the edge knowing his baby girl is always in the front line, risking her life, same as Mia's mother. Mia demands to know why he and his mother left Aroma City Port years ago, leaving Mia in the care of her grandmother. Mr. Shiraishi said he couldn't stop Mia's grandmother for wanting her to fulfill her familial duties in becoming a samurai. Mr. Shiraishi wants to give her a choice to decide in giving up being a samurai after Mia has grown up. Mia firmly tells her father that she won't quit the samurai rangers and bears no grudge against her parents before she transforms and slays the Azazoth present and, after becoming Daimyo Pink, defeats Serator. Enraged, Serator summons a Kirigami with an army of Mega Azazoth and a pair of Mega no Sakameda. Daimyo Pink, piloting Samurai Megazord, rides aboard Toros Folding Zord to defeat the Azazoth, and Homarus Zord joins Samurai Megazord and Toros Warrior Mode to destroy the Kirigami and the Mega no Sakameda. Afterwards, Mr. Shiraishi reunites Mia with her mother and daughter embrace. Mrs. Shiraishi explains that her mind and body was in a poor state after her last battle. Growing up seeing her in this state might turn Mia away from becoming a samurai. After years of psychological and physical therapy, she is ready to face her daughter again. The reason why Mrs. Shiraishi left without saying a word back then was because her mother couldn't bear seeing her go. She doesn't want to see her daughter end up like her, being paraplegic. She is ashamed that she was unable to take down Master Xandrid. Now her daughter needs to clean up after her mess. Mia tries to comfort her and said it was never her fault. It was nobody's fault. Mrs. Shiraishi did her duty and sent the Niloks back to the Sunja River. She finally resolves to let go of the past before Mr. and Mrs. Shiraishi bid Mia goodbye and return to Hawaii. Emily asks Mia more about this special boy Mia is interested in. Mia says she uses her samurai duty to try and will wait until she is ready to approach him. In the subsequent episode Ultra Samurai Combination, Antonio points out the possible yet risky combination of their Folding Zord with the Toros Folding Zord. He also says he is on the warm trail in finding the Mosasaurus disc. Kevin visits his old Shakespearean drama theater, reminiscing about his life before becoming a samurai ranger. On his way back to the Shiba house, he comes across the Nylok and Azazoth terrorizing people and eating everything in sight. When he tries to transform, his calligraphone is eaten, leaving him to watch his comrades fight the Nylok and get overpowered before the Nylok takes his leave. Mike and Kevin got into a fight, fearing Kevin might be up to something traitorous. Kevin apologizes for losing his anger. Mia explains to Mike that Kevin might be missing his life as a theater actor and wants to return to it. Without his calligraphone, Kevin goes back to the Shakespearean drama theater to watch his friend Kendrick practice for an upcoming performance that both were supposed to perform together until Kevin became a samurai ranger. The next day, Nylok Gastric resumes his feeding frenzy as the samurai rangers arrive to face him and attempt to regain Kevin's calligraphone. However, Deeker and Dae arrive to prevent the samurai rangers from defeating Nylok Gastric, allowing the Nylok to eat even more. Elsewhere, Kevin, in disguise, for the 12th night scene which has a dance in it, approaches Kendrick to inspire him to perfect the dance, and to make amends for leaving the show without a word. His friend recognizes him and tells Kevin he awaits for his return. Kevin quietly leaves as he approaches to fight the Niloks. Having succeeded, Kevin joins the others as Deeker and Deo destroy Nilok Gastric themselves to unleash his full power, with Samurai Red barely retrieving Kevin's calligraphone before the Nilok grows to immense proportions and gains a shield to defend and attack with. Thulu finally encounters Kevin again. Thulu asks if Kevin will finally greet him and call him Grand Uncle. The other Rangers were bewildered. Kevin hangs his head in shame. Thulu tries to use mind control on Kevin, but he was able to snap out of it. Lauren's CGI power is still active in Kevin's body, which nullifies Thulu's mind control. Kevin straight up attacks Thulu while he taunts, "Are you going to attack your own blood?" Samurai Red uses the black box to form Homarus Samurai Megazord, but they cannot break through Nilok Gastric's shield. Samurai Blue uses this opportunity to convince Samurai Red to take out the All-Ultra Samurai Disc and combine all of the folding Zord, but first he needs the black box. Mike thinks it's a trap, but with Kevin's urgency, Lauren throws the black box while Kevin is locked in blades with Thulu and transforms into Daimyo mode. As the secret disc is placed into the black box, Samurai Blue activates the disc, stealing Thulu's CGI power, allowing all of the folding Zord to combine into Samurai Megazord. With their newfound power, the Samurai Rangers break through Nilok Gastric's wall-like shield and destroy him. Suddenly stealing Thulu's water CGI left him exhausted. He retreated with the sudden decrease of power. After the battle, Kevin watches Kendrick prepare for the Shakespearean drama performance, and he intends to keep a vow to his friend that he will return to Shakespearean drama once the Nilok are finally defeated. Back in the Sansa River, Sarator demands to know why did Thulu showed up to mess their plan. Thulu says it was to throw the Rangers off. But Sarator knows that Thulu deliberately showed up to sabotage his plans and transfer his CGI powers to the Blue Ranger. Thus, Sarator hijacked Thulu with the mind control attack, which Thulu ironically has used on Kevin. When the Rangers were back, Kevin reveals why his family has been so behemoth in showing his loyalty to the Shiba clan and why becoming a samurai is so important. He revealed that Thulu was his grand uncle. He was the second-born child of his family, not destined to be the Blue Samurai Ranger. This upset his uncle a lot, as he himself saw how he's more worthy being the Samurai Ranger than everyone else. This resentment to the rejection turns into obsession. In time, he is obsessed with power and has a desire to combine Nilok powers with samurai powers. His goal is to take over the Shiba clan. When he tried to rebel, he was taken down by Kevin's grandfather. But he has been stealing Shiba secrets while working as an informant for the Samurai Rangers for decades, thus why he knows so much about the Shiba clan. Hence, his grand-uncle decides to join the Nilok for more power, in hopes to take over the Shiba clan after destroying them. He casts his humanity aside and secretly became Thulu, which was kept as the Samurai Blue family's history of shame. This also explains why Kevin was so easily susceptible to mind control by Thulu, because they are related by blood. The Rangers originally felt uneasy about this, but Lauren says she has never doubted Kevin once. Thulu wants this revelation to break the Samurai Rangers apart, but this will not happen. However, Mike is still having doubts. In the succeeding episode, Sticky Situation, at night, Mirren is with the human Xandrid. The two are stargazing. Her eye catches a shooting star, stating that if you wish upon it, the wish will come true. The girl states she only has one wish, for the return of his memory. Xandrid stares at Mirren as she completes the wish, confused why she would care about a total stranger. Returning to the house, she had fallen unconscious, where the doctor states things aren't looking well for her and that Mirren only has 6 months to live even with modern medicine due to all shipments being delayed from the Nilok attacks. Back at the beach house, Xandrid wonders why Mirren made a wish for him as opposed to curing her own sickness. As she regains consciousness, he wonders why she wished for him instead of herself, and she states that her own wish probably won't come true. The human Xandrid asks for Mirren to live, but she falls unconscious once again. Clutching her hand, Xandrid emits an energy that covers her body. At the same time, Mirren has made a miraculous recovery and plays badminton with the human Xandrid. The doctor is surprised that Mirren is completely well, as if a miracle. Meanwhile, Antonio struggles to stay true to himself as his curry is an absolute hit even though his aspiration is to be a sushi maker. There are even investors and he went on many covers on many popular cooking magazines. Antonio thinks about the proposal, which causes Emily to feel guilty as she was the one who asked him to make curry rice for her. The next day, Emily apologizes to Antonio for mentioning curry in the first place, and the two talk about Antonio's dream to have his own sushi restaurant. Emily asks for sushi and Antonio creates it for her. Sadly, Emily says it doesn't taste as good as before. Antonio tries it himself and realizes the sushi has been contaminated with curry powder. The businessman returns with the plans for the restaurant, which would sell only curry. Antonio firmly rejects the offer. At the same time, Kevin and Mike get glued together by an enemy Nilok and learn how to work together up close, although there were many arguments. Lauren gives Emily permission to look over Mike and Kevin to distract her from giving Antonio a life crisis. At first, The pair glued together were dismissive of her. So, Emily switched gears. With Emily's strictness and militant-like attitude, that aided the two to finally come together and have a heart-to-heart while hiding away from Drill Sergeant Emily. Mike also reveals he distrusts Mike because of his over-the-top servitude to Lauren seems phony, and Thulu's origins does not help with Kevin's genuineness. Kevin doesn't argue. He states he is still guilty for being mind-controlled by Thulu, which gives off a bad impression for the rest of the team. That's why he has to overcompensate. Kevin tells Mike that even though his obedience to Lauren may be over the top, he does have his own thoughts and Lauren's actions have won him over. Kevin will not blindly follow any lord, but loyalty to Lauren herself. The two also shared insecurities, Mike fearing he will never live up to the Green Samurai title and Kevin fearing he will never be able to clear his family name. After a few attempts to cut the glue off, the Samurai Rangers realize that defeating the sticky Nyloke is the only way to separate Kevin and Mike. Though the two men attempt to prove that they are able to fight in light of the literal sticky situation, they are told to stay behind. While Kevin and Mike eventually get along, the others train to deflect sticky Nyloke's glue until the Nyloke returns to glue every person he comes across to something or to each other. Following the others, Kevin and Mike watch their teammates fall into sticky Nyloke's trap, except Emily. With Kevin following Mike, the two transforms and enters the battlefield to face. The two taunts the sticky Nyloke and said, "Now, count up your sins." While the three were locked in battle, Emily enters using Daimyo mode and slays the Nyloke. Once the Nyloke is destroyed, the glue between Mike and Kevin is gone. Homarus Zord and Toros Warrior mode arrive to hold back sticky Nyloke with Gamma support before they destroy him. After the battle, Antonio posts no more curry signs on his sushi cart, losing all of his new customers, to return to his true passion, making sushi. Antonio thanks Emily for showing him what he truly wants. Sometimes Emily may not see it, but her naivete actually helps others see the bigger picture. Kevin and Mike have become very much in sync during the meal. Following the next episode called Day Off, Lauren tells his vassals that Ji will be leaving them for his yearly day off to visit the resting place of his wife and visit his daughter and granddaughter. But because the fight with the Nyloke has gotten worse, Ji may not take his day off. Deciding to make sure Ji will take the only holiday for the year, the Samurai Rangers replace the real gap sensor with a fake so Ji can enjoy himself. The next day, the Nyloke gunner appears with his gun squad for target practice as the Samurai Rangers arrive to fight them. Thulu reveals he has mass-produced the firearm that was used by a Nyloke in the beginning of the season and has chosen this Nyloke to train a batch of Nylokes ever since. Managing to drive the Nyloke back, after getting Ji to leave, the Samurai Rangers carry out Ji's daily responsibilities until Gunner resumes his target practice. The Samurai Rangers use their speed to get close enough to the Azazoth to take them out until Ninja Gold gets gunned down by the Azazoth reinforcements who overwhelm the rest of the team. At the last second, Ji arrives with the Bullzoica bazooka which Daimyo Red uses to turn the tables, revealing that he knew of their attempt to give him a worry-free day off. Upgrading it to the Daimyo Bullzoica bazooka, Daimyo Red destroys Gunner and orders Ninja Gold to leave. He has a side mission. When the Nyloke revives, Toros Warrior mode and Samurai Gamma fight him and his cannon-wielding Mega Azazoth. After enlarging the Bullzoica bazooka, Toros Warrior mode dispatches the Mega Azazoth before finally destroying Gunner. Later, Antonio brings Ji to see his daughter and her family, as it was Lauren's intention during the Zord battle. In the Sansa River, Thulu states that every one of Serator's plan has been foiled by the Samurai Rangers, but it raised the water levels by a bit. Serator laughs and says all his plans are a parts of an endgame. Enter episode Value of Life. Mirin falls down as she's falling ill again. The human's android tells her to not overdo it, but she states she feels great and that he has incredible powers that has been emitting out of him. Without his memories, Mirin guessed that he lived an amazing life in the past, which is why fate in the stars would give him such special powers, which miraculously has been healing her over time. Quieted by the comment, the two embrace with Xandrid stating he doesn't care about the past anymore. Not even about the dreams and nightmares he has been having where the tiny Azaoth was embedded with so much anger and hatred in the Sunja River. They decide to head to Solitaire Island to lift Mirin's spirits up. After learning of possible Nyloke activity on Solitaire Island, the Samurai Rangers travel to investigate. After splitting up into three groups, Lauren and Mia and Antonio and Mike are ambushed by villagers driven insane by Serator's magic. Kevin and Emily encounter a young boy who tells them of an ash causing an illness amongst the villagers, making them paranoid and bloodthirsty. When the two go to warn the others, they are ambushed by Deo and are knocked out. The human Xandrid and Mirin both were not affected by the ashes because Xandrid isn't a true human and Mirin is affected by Xandrid's Nyloke energy. The human Xandrid felt so helpless trying to protect Mirin from the people turned insane by the ashes by hiding. Elsewhere, Serator ambushes Antonio and Mike, placing them under the influence of the ash that he has created, and Deeker attacks Samurai Red and Pink. In the duel between Lauren and Deeker, Deeker noted Lauren has become weaker upon. It feels like she is no longer giving Deeker all she's got. She has attachments and lost her determination in the battle. It felt like she would be fine to retreat at any time, valuing her life. This comment distracts Lauren and allows Deeker to injure her. Mia came in just in time to take her out of the battle and into safety. On the other side of the island, after having a number of people attacking them, the human's android wants to stop this madness. He wants to find the source of it, with Mirren reluctantly following him, hoping to hold him back from getting himself hurt. Still angered, Lauren runs off to fight Deeker, again, with Mia. They arrive at a mountain guarded by Deeker and Deo that is producing the ash infecting the village. While Mia fights Deo as Samurai Pink, Lauren transforms into Daimyo Red to fight Deeker but is still no match, proving Deeker was right. In their previous duel, Lauren was evenly matched with Deeker. Now she isn't on the same level despite using a power-up. When Samurai Red dropped her Bull Zoica, the human's android rushes up, grabs the Bull Zoica and shot it at the source of the insanity-inducing altar. He freed the island from the ash's influence. After Serator's hold on the island was gone, Serator retreats with Deeker and Deo, leaving Kirigami and a pair of mega monsters to keep the Samurai Rangers at bay. Samurai Yellow tends to Lauren's wounds, leaving Kevin using Daimyo mode in Homarus Samurai Megazord and Ninja Gold in Toros Warrior mode to defeat the Mega Azazoth. Mirren tends the human's android's wounds, and asked how did Xandrid know the altar was causing all this trouble. He said it was intuition. Will Xandrid return as the redeemed master of Nilox? The group forms Homarus Samurai Megazord to fight the monsters and to destroy the Mega Monster and the Kirigami. Having freed the island, the Samurai Rangers head back home, with Deeker's words still burning in Lauren's mind as Mia keeps a worried eye on her lord. Will Lauren's growing obsession with defeating Deeker would end in disaster, just like Mia's personal obsession with her crush that ended poorly? Onward to episode The Master's Return. While training, Lauren almost hurts Mike while remembering Deeker's words from their last encounter. Meanwhile, over Mirren's house, Thulu finds the human's android and says finally his dream hex worked, which helps Thulu track him down. This encounter freaked the human's android out obviously. He thought he was getting ambushed, but Thulu calms him down. Thulu says he is fighting his hardest against Serator's mind control to do this. If Xandrid doesn't accept Thulu's magic, he may never be able to do it again. The human's android finally accepts the incantation and Thulu restores Xandrid's memories. We see the conclusion to Xandrid's nightmares. When Xandrid was just a weak Azazoth, his distaste towards humans grew as he spent a longer time living in the human realm. Misjudged and ostracized for just his appearance, Xandrid's abhorrence towards the humans and feeding off humans' negative emotion made him evolve into something terrifying but also headache-inducing. After centuries of hatred, he finally came to wage war on humanity and fought against the 17th Shiba clan. This realization made the human male that he was tricked into becoming a human made him angry. He started putting all the parts of his shattered memories together. Thulu mindlessly returns to the crevice as the human's android ran out of Mirren's house. Mirren, noticing Xandrid has left, she ran after him. At the same time, Deo confronted Serator about her shamisen, but he finally reveals he has no intention of fixing it but to make the soul of Deeker in it suffer. This led to Deo attacking him. Serator's entrance into the human world triggered a gap sensor, which alerted the Samurai Rangers to their location. The Samurai Rangers continue to have a hard time fighting Serator but are no match. Serator's attacks send the Rangers flying. Then, Xandrid as a human arrives, kicking the Nylok King to the ground as Mirren watches, fearing for his safety. With his pure unadulterated wrath, Xandrid returns to his true form and attacks Serator as Mirren screams with fear. Serator is surprised by Xandrid's return. The two fought and the two are in a stalemate. We can see if Xandrid is fully recovered, Serator would not have gotten a chance as Xandrid is starting to dry up slowly. The Samurai Rangers recovered and arrived to see the two fighting. Xandrid grabs Serator and tells the Samurai Rangers to strike Serator's headwear, which is his weak point. Each ranger uses their respective weapons and aims it at Serator's headwear. Kevin uses his Hydrobow, Lauren uses her Fire Smasher cannon mode, Emily throws her Earth Slicer, Mike lounges at Serator's head with his Forest Spear, and Antonio uses Gamma to shoot discs. All their attacks were amplified by Mia, who uses her Sky Fan. This knocks Serator off his feet and he retreats immediately. The Rangers then attack Xandrid but they were no match. Not even Lauren in Daimyo mode, and she took a heavy hit trying to defend her fallen comrades. Xandrid, still readjusting back to his Nylok form, retreats. On his way to a deep crevice, he meets Mirren, who asks him to come home with her and be human again. Mirren states that Xandrid is not someone made to fight and that he is a kind person. Briefly, Xandrid closes his eyes and reflects on Mirren's words. There was a small flashback of the good deeds Xandrid as a young Azazoth has done, but then reopens them and yells that her accusation of gentleness, love, and care is ridiculous and such foolish actions will only make him weak. And in his memories, all the consequences of his good deeds were repaid with pain. But this lesson of becoming a human has taught him to be merciful. Mirren cries in agony seeing the man she has fallen in love with was gone. Xandrid thought his purpose was to wipe out humanity because he hates them. But he realizes he is wrong and he wants to liberate humans from this lamentation. He has experienced 1,000 lifetimes of pain and suffering as he is created by the embodiment of rage and anguish. His life as a human reinforced having humanity is the bane of humans' existence. If humans are always in pain and suffering, he will mercifully end it all. By wiping out all humans, they will no longer suffer those emotions. Alighting his sword, Xandrid reabsorbs the energy he has healed Mirren with before, killing her instantly. After her departure, he said that humanity will be cured and thus will cure centuries of his pain. As he is starting to dry up, he returns back to the Sunja River. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. Have a happy new year of 2022. The final chapter will be finished by Chinese New Year, I hope. There's a little Easter egg homework for you guys to figure out the time. Signing off, Riders and Rangers.